Hello and welcome back to the channel everybody, and today, well, we're breaking out of our normal flight simming schedule to bring you Train Sim World 2020. And today what I want to do is I want to see if my particularly average rig is going to be able to run this game decently. Now I've just picked up the title this weekend, and along with it all the DLC that comes with it, and I've got here the Peninsula Corridor DLC. I'm going to run through the first scenario. So what I'll do for a start, let's throw up the specs of my current rig right now, through the magic of editing, by the way. And as you can see, pretty average to say the least. Some of the components are better than others, but it's definitely starting to show its age. It runs most games completely fine, but I just want to see how it goes with a title like this, which in the past has had a few optimization sort of challenges, but from all accounts seems to be getting better. So let's go and check it out. Now, by the way, just a bit of a disclaimer here. I have got normal train simulator, and I've played it quite a bit, but it's not a game I play a lot, so I'm probably going to make a few mistakes. So this isn't a, let's see if Kiwi Mace can accurately portray a train driver, because that's going to probably fail. But just want to see the performance. We might do a few tweaks and we'll see how we go. Now let's take a look at what my settings are for a start. As we jump into the settings here, I've made a couple of quick tweaks, so I did a little bit of testing just to make sure this thing wasn't going to crash straight away. But I've gone ahead and I've actually, let's go here, I've actually put on just the basic ultra settings, which is pretty amazing, by the way, and haven't touched anything else except, and that's what ultra will give you, by the way, the base ultra will give you. What I did actually do was turn on VSync. I was getting quite a bit of tearing, so I've gone ahead and done that. Apart from that, I've made no other changes. Here we are, we're getting into the cab here, ladies and gentlemen. I suppose we want to close the door, might be a good effort. No? Do we do it? How do we do that? Bang. Alright. Into the chair. Alright. Let's load the passengers. While we're loading some passengers, you can just see some of the outdoor graphical sort of quality right here. And another thing just to note is, by the time I render this on my average rig and then upload it to YouTube, it's probably likely to lose some of its sharpness. That generally is what happens. But nonetheless, look, I'm actually pretty happy. Oh, we're bouncing around a bit here. The actual graphical quality is actually not too bad. I'd say just because of the lighting, the way the lighting's hitting it at the moment, it's not unbelievable, but it's certainly completely decent. And as I move the camera around, I mean, if you move it too quickly, you get the blur. But if you move it nice and slowly, as you're probably supposed to, it actually moves nice and smoothly, and you get good level of quality right there. So I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, after a bit of fiddling around, we finally figured out how to get this bloody thing moving, and we are away. And apart from these buildings in the way, it seems to be pretty smooth. Obviously, it's not going very fast at this stage, but yeah, good smooth takeaway. We're not getting any graphical glitches. So I'm actually pretty happy with that at this point. So let's jump back in the cab. Let's make sure we can actually go 80 miles per hour apparently. So just looking from the front, you know, the draw distance is not handling that amazingly well, and I haven't actually seen what this title looks like just normally, so that may be just how it works. But I mean, the immediate graphics are looking pretty solid. They're looking good. There's no popping in or out. The distant graphics are certainly popping. In fact, I'm getting a little bit of popping not too far ahead on the tracks there, but that's one thing that happens in normal train simulator, so I'm not overly surprised with that. Okay, we're starting to get some pace up here, and so things are starting to move by a little bit faster, and so far so good. I'm not seeing really any significant jittering. I get a feeling it's wanting to jitter a little bit, but as we can see here, a little bump there. Yeah, probably just seeing just a touch of bumping right now, but nothing significant. It's handling it pretty well at this point. Okay, as we increase our pace right here, one thing I'm definitely noticing is the track draw distance is not very far whatsoever. I'm talking about the detailed draw distance. I have to say I'm not overly surprised with that. And I think as I look out the right hand window here, I'm starting to see just definitely a few frame bumps right here. Certainly starting to see that pick up as we go. I've got to say, this is an absolutely fantastic view, and I don't think it's putting a massive load on my rig at the moment. We are seeing sort of some funny little graphical glitches there by the looks of it under the wheel, but that might actually be an intentional effect. I'm not too sure if it is. But it seems to be handling this not too bad, although you're certainly seeing just a few jumps. Yeah, so my initial thoughts are, as we get that pace right up there and we're starting to see those objects really zip past, you are starting to see some micro stutters there. But to be honest, I can totally handle those. It's not like major frame bumps where you're really getting annoyed with it. So I could actually handle that. I mean, it's not ideal, I would say, but considering, like I say, the rig that I've got, I'm actually... Oh shit! Oh shit! I'm supposed to stop back there, everybody. Okay, so I was supposed to stop back there. But let's just continue on, because this isn't about accurate train driving. This is about graphics. Ha! What a shocker. Anyway, it's actually it's handling it pretty nicely actually. Okay, everybody, I've decided to ditch that other scenario because I ran right past our stop. But this wasn't about train driving. This was about performance. And here we are in the CSX Heavy Haul scenario, just one of the first ones here, and I just wanted to check out what the performance would be like on this particular scenario. And as you can see, once again, the graphics are looking absolutely fantastic. I do notice there's definitely just a very, very small micro interruption as I pan around this vehicle. You could maybe just see it right there. But once again, nothing too major, and as we see around some of the scenery, I do actually notice just a little bit more of an interruption than I did on the other one, to be fair. So perhaps the newer scenario is a little bit more optimized, or it could just be the type of scenario that this is. So what I would say is, considering that the type of rig that I'm running, I'm actually pretty pleased with the performance of this game. In fact, I'm very, very pleased, and I think if we look at these... If you look at the graphics up close right here, they're absolutely sensational, and I'm just looking at some of these ground textures. Now, there's definitely a little I mean, if you're going to be very picky, there is definitely some micro stutter there. But like I say, once you get immersed into the game, it's probably not something that would concern me too much. It just depends who you are. I mean, I could change the settings back to high, and that would maybe deal with it, or perhaps it's just one of those things you've got to deal with in game with this particular game. I'm not too sure, because I haven't played it before this version, so I'm not too sure. Okay, one thing I'm just looking at here at the moment is shadows, and I'm actually very, very pleased with how they're coming out right here, because often what you'll get, and look, I'll have a closer look in a minute, but often what you'll get is a lot of jagged edges when it comes to shadow. And obviously it can take up quite a bit of computing power to get that right. But I think, given that I'm not often going to be right up very close looking at the shadow on the ground, it's actually pretty good. And here's a closer look at that shadow right now. Now, of course, the train's moving, which actually helps. And also, when you look at the shadow, obviously we're on a rough surface, so it's not a straight edge surface that you're going to see exactly. But actually, that shadow looks pretty decent, I've got to say. And if you look at some shadows that are reflecting on the actual vehicle itself, I mean, if you get up really close like this, you can actually see sort of the marching ants around the outside. Not quite marching ants, but definitely see some shimmery shadow there. But I'm getting very, very close there, so that's getting picky. But I mean, if you're looking from a distance that you'd probably be looking at it from, it's actually completely fine. Nice and sharp. Those graphics, I've got to say, the graphics are sensational, and I'm going way too fast. Let's slow down this vehicle. Slow it down. Remember, we're not here to judge my train driving, everybody. Let's not do that. Yeah, the graphics are absolutely sensational. Definitely seeing, I mean, you could probably see it yourself right now. We can certainly see some frame jump right there. But to be honest, if I can play this game in Ultra, I'd put up with that. You can see it there, just a little bit of frame jump right there. And once again, just a little illustration there. If you're going to get picky, you can certainly see those little micro stutters right there. But once again, what I would say is that I am more than happy to put up with those, considering the level of the graphical quality, basically. Okay, everybody, there you go. A quick look at Train Sim World. And I'd have to say, it performs particularly well on an average rig like mine. A lot better than I expected. The highlights really are, I mean, the graphical quality is just really fantastic. A huge step up from Train Simulator, and I think everyone knows that. The shadows are of good quality. And overall, the frame rates held up pretty well. Now, as you notice, I did not have a frame rate counter in there, so I didn't actually see technically how it was performing. But at the end of the day, I just want to see the look and the feel from just playing the game, and that's what counts to me. And overall, it performed pretty well. At high speeds, we definitely saw a few stutters, but nothing absolutely game-breaking, to be fair, so I was pretty happy with that. I think, the draw distance is pretty close, but you do find that with many fast-moving type games, so your train sims, your flight sims and stuff like that. But once again, that could be a limitation of my rig, but totally, I'm more than happy to play it with that. So overall, I would say I'm very, very impressed with the way it performed, much better than I thought. Certainly probably scope for me to go and do a lot more tweaking. I would definitely like to upgrade my system in the near future so I can throw everything on absolute ultra and really make it shine. But tell me what you think down below. I mean, have you had a chance to have a go at this game? What do you think? But hey, thank you very much for watching something just a little bit different on the channel. If you are new, please consider subscribing. Smash that like button because, why not? It costs nothing at all except a little bit of self-respect. And until next time, take it easy.